Hi folks, sun's shining, beautiful autumn day. Thought I'd just take this opportunity to show the rest of my collection of army boots from different countries now. We've already covered the British, the German and the Dutch. So these are just a collection of random boots I've managed to collect. So start off with the Swedish M59. These are a real, tough old boot, as it suggests. The model is from 1959, but these boots weren't from 1959. Okay, the date somewhere on them, 1968. These boots were made, and I got them. They haven't been issued. Definitely a winter boot. They're heavy, very strong. One story goes that during the Falklands campaign, British troops were trying to get a hold of these because the British DMS, direct molded sole boots, weren't very good in those terrible conditions, so they're trying to get hold of pairs of these. They have a stitched on sole, so you can restitch them, and they're designed to be used, I think, with snowshoes or skis, obviously by Swedish troops in winter conditions. There's sort of two models of these. These are the standard infantry ones, I understand. But then you also see, because these are in brown, you also see ones which have like a plastified finish on the outside, which I think were more special issue for very wet conditions. So still available on surplus in the UK. Moving on, we then have a pair of boots by Prabos from the Czech Republic, and these are the model 2000 from memory. The actual model, it's similar in lots of ways to the German, the Bundeswehr army boots of this period, and Prabos was one of the manufacturers of the German boots, so not used these very much yet. All these boots that I always mention are shown individually on the channel. I'm just putting them together as a collection. Then moving on to, these are Swiss Army ankle boots. These go back a long time. I don't know this particular pair, but I think the Swiss Army was using these for many years. Not used these, and these might be one of the last ones I do use because they don't feel very comfortable at all. Size wise, I don't think they're great for me as well at the moment. I think these were originally in brown, and somebody's then blacked them up. Again, probably getting quite rare now in the UK and about in Switzerland. But moving on, they then did move on to a very good pair of boots. Slipping off the step here. The Swiss KS90 boot. Excellent boot this is. Very comfortable. I've done 2 reviews on that on the channel, because again, if you're a regular viewer, you know that I tend to review a pair of boots when I buy them, try and walk 500 plus kilometers in them, and then give them a review. So that's why you'll find two reviews on the channel on, say, these KS90. Next one are the Danish boots. If you can see that, but there's the Danish crown in 1999 there. Again, not used these, but these look to be, high quality boot. Never been issued, look. By the looks of them, it's Helden, I think, is the outsole manufacturer, or maybe the boot manufacturer, I'm not sure. But looking at a good pair of boots. I think they've got a reinforced toe. Nice feel of it. Sort of classic, sort of 80s, 90s style army boot, aren't they? In black. That's the. You can see that safety class there. I think from memory again, they were the 83 model. There was a 58 model which has a separate toe cap, and I think these were the 82 or 83 model. I need to look at my own video there to check that. Moving on again, and these are the heaviest boots I think in the whole of the collection. These are the Austrian army boots, half-lined. These things weigh a ton, frankly. I mean, talk about being well made. They really are, you know. 1989 is the date on the sole there. Very aggressive tread for use in the mountains or in the hills or in deep snow. So, you know, great pair of boots they will be. I'm sure they're very heavy to use. I've not used them yet, but if you're really looking for something that, you know, extreme conditions and can put up with the weight, they might be the solution. And then last but not least, and I'm sorry that they're all muddied up, it does show that I've been walking with these, and does show I do use these boots, not just for show. These are the South African boots in brown. Now, bit of different remarks on these. These are supposedly for the South African Defence Force, SADF, and they are made by a manufacturer in South Africa that does have the contract number with the SADF forces. Whether this particular style are used by the South African forces, I'm not too sure. I mean, they are really your basic boot, pebbled cow leather, you know, no lining as such. Made by a company called Dick Whittington Shoes. They have a Goodyear construction sole up, so you could replace them. They have a stitched on sole. I think their website's down at the moment, but last time I looked, Dick Whittington Shoes, they do show this pair, and they do quote the South African Forces sort of contract number. So they are genuine suppliers to the South African Forces. I'm not sure if this particular type or model is used by. Some of the remarks on the channel seem to suggest, by, you know, veterans of that army, that yeah, they are, and some suggest that, well, they've never actually seen these. You know, maybe not perhaps as a full combat boot. I'm not sure anyway. But I'm just using them to test them out and give them the 500 kilometre test. And pretty low cost boot to buy when I was in South Africa. Bought them brand new from a big surplus store in Pretoria. So that's really the last of the army boot collections. I do have some civilian boots as well, but what I think I might do is do some videos by brand. Like I've got high-tech, quite a number of high-tech different shoes and boots. Maybe put all the hikes together, all the models together, just as an idea, just to show these collections. So, as I said, they're all on the channel. Most of these, because I've got so many boots now, I haven't used. Some not at all, such as the Swiss ankle, or some, you know, not that extensively yet. The M59. Probably the one that I have used a lot is the KS90, the Swiss Army boot. And I think they've changed. Well, I know they've changed to Aku. I think the main reason was the Aku boots, you know, don't need polishing, the type of design, so they're just trying to save their recruits, you know, having to polish their army footwear, etc. Anyway, that's it from me for now. I've got some clearing up to do in the garden. The leaves are all coming down. Jobs are never done, eh? Alright folks, so as always, take care out there.